Hello and welcome to Minetest. If you're unfamiliar with Minetest, it's a bit like Minecraft, as you can see from just looking around here. I'm currently in space, which is why you can see that I'm flying in this very limited area in here. I'll get to explaining a bit more of what's going on, but first, let's go ahead and turn on the air pump. These are air bottles, these are the empty bottles. Yes, the graphic style is very different. And they will make that noise repeatedly because this is actually not airtight, even though it looks like it is, because game physics. But anyhow, Minetest, just to give a brief background, think if Minecraft, instead of having a base game and relying on that, and then mods are very hacked in, imagine if the base game was nothing, and it relies entirely on mods in order to generate what's up. So this is a shuttle. Oh, I'm now in the atmosphere. Like I said, unfortunately, due to the stylized blocks that I've used on the outside of the construction, this is technically not a sealed space. So that's going to continually pump out air. You can also see the O2 level bar on the top. That's because I'm wearing a spacesuit, and the spacesuit is accessible here. You can see the spacesuit is nearly out of oxygen. I don't know if it gets destroyed when it's out of oxygen or not. I'd rather not find out. I have another spacesuit right here, and yes, there's a lot of text on the screen. Let me just temporarily turn that off. Ah, much better. Yes, this is a radar, and you can set what range it will show things at, and anytime you're standing near a radar, it will show all those beacons. And this is a microscope, and this is a chest, essentially. It doesn't have any animations, though, and this is a whole bunch of decorative blocks. This allows you to create multiple different forms of... Oh, you can't do it with ice. What about cobblestone? Yeah, you can make all sorts of different micro-block things, and, you know, slopes and all that kind of stuff. So it's handy for that. Anvil and a hammer for repairing tools. That's the other spacesuit I was talking about. This is a teleporter thing. This is a computer. Yeah, these are... Oh, it doesn't have any code in it. I believe I have another one. Oh, yes, it's on the ceiling here. This is very, very complicated and is someone else's code, and I'm going to learn how to automate the jump drive with that. This block here is the jump drive. This is my current coordinates. The radius is how big of an area it will jump. This book is actually useless. Here's a clock with the current in-game time, which is pretty neato. It's unfinished. Oh yeah, so one of the mods is called Technic. That supplies this high voltage power line. This is a high voltage solar array. This is a switching station. You have to have one of these on any line of power. And then this is a battery box, which, oh yeah, I completely forgot I put my my mining drill in here. I should take that out before someone could take it, because it's unprotected there. Yeah, there's a protection system built in, and it's a little weird, but there are blocks as well as permission, like blocks that will protect an area around them, and then permission privileges that'll let you use commands to create privileges. I'm a little scared coming outside right now because there was an alien here attacking me. I'm in space, by the way. If I go up a little bit, you'll see that that's the air bubble my ship is creating right now, because it's technically not airtight. Either that or the air pump has like a default radius that it pumps to and then checks for air tightness outside of that level, in which case that would explain why it's, you know, like this. But yeah, you can see I've used some style blocks for making this look vaguely like a shuttlecraft from Star Trek. Very vaguely. This is one of those permission blocks I was talking about, so if I tap it, you'll see this overlay comes up, and you'll see that it just barely fits the ship inside. It actually goes a little too far on the bottom. The jump drive is just above that, so inside there is how that works. And I'm not worried about sealing it up, because I like the way it looks. Those are the 3 items that are in the ceiling, and I really like the way it looks, and I don't want to, you know, fix that, which means that this is always going to go through air very quickly, which is why I have a lot of air stored in it. Unfortunately, it doesn't take power. I kind of wish it integrated with the mod that does power, and then I'd have to hook it up somewhere. Probably right here is where I'd hook it up, or yeah, I'd probably hook it up right here if it required power. I think that would just be cool, because, you know, requiring power for that. Also, don't sleep in a bed in a spaceship if you intend to move the spaceship, because I found out the hard way, your spawn point will stay where the bed was, and you'll end up spawning in midair and falling to your death. I had that happen to me many, many times, and yeah, I came up here to mine, because I made another jump drive here, and I was making more materials, well, I was mining more materials, which are the mies blocks and wrought iron ingots, to make more jump drives, but yeah, I don't have the necessary stuff to do that. Now, there are some coordinates that I have to get back to, like, my base, but you know what, actually, I'm going to leave my ship here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the wasting of air. I'll leave those empty bottles there. As you can see, it very quickly is draining, running out of air. And if I go out here, you'll see the bubble has collapsed quite a bit. These blocks that are partials will kind of maintain their bit of atmosphere. In fact, actually, this is collapsed all the way. The only ones that are left are these partial blocks, which it's a bit cheaty because you can just go inside that and have air. But that's why I'm wearing a spacesuit, because I don't intend to be exploiting that cheatiness. And then a lot of things in here are the same way. There's a lot of blocks that are taking up some space partially, and so it looks very strange in here with little bits of atmosphere going every which way, which is why I would keep this on all the time if it wasn't so loud and stuff like that. Now, dwarf home. I completely forgot I named it that. That was my first home. I started building a tower. I found lava the first time. I made a little tree farm. I found lava again. I started building a factory. This is a very deep place to mine from. This is someone else's plastic factory that I was given permission to access. It's actually broken right now, if I remember correctly, which is unfortunate. But what is QB asking about? You need to... Hold on. Nope, I'm not going to do it as a PM. QB, you need to ask more specific questions. Because, you know, people be dumb like that. And, yeah. I don't think I have access to this. Oh, hello. Do I, though? Probably not. It's lagging just a bit, so... Oh, it says gold lock chest, owned by Buckaroo Banzai. Right under the O2 level. I know it's a little hard to read, possibly even harder because this is downscaled. Apologies for that, but yeah. I want to go to the factory. So part of Technic, or actually these are technically from a mod called Pipeworks, but it's compatible with Technic, adds all of these little pipes and things, and I used to have a system set up here that would sort things, and all these holes in the ceiling are where different pipes went to different machines and all that, but it's partially disassembled because I started working on a new system. This is a supply converter, this is medium voltage, that's high voltage, this is a quarry, well, right over there, just barely visible, and a switching station. Yeah, behind this concealed door, which isn't very well concealed because it stands out quite a bit, is water. And, oh yeah, I completely forgot I opened the top of this because I realized there's no point in keeping it closed. These are hydro medium voltage generators. And, oh yeah, there's the switching station for them. And yeah, they just have to be in water. So, this is my little infinite water power. And, oh, I love the sound that made. I had some semi-automated production as well. This is like redstone in Minecraft. It's mies, and so it transmits a signal. The clock for it is actually downstairs. Don't stand on this. You can't stand on it. You'll fall through it. And these are automated crafters, and I basically had, like I said, a partially automated system to craft some certain things. Transformers, copper coils, and then over here, some cabling, a solar panel, yep, some silver wire, and this is an arrayed low voltage generator. That's like the level 1 stuff. You have to make like 27 times 3 of these. Hold on. You gotta make 81 of these in order to make what's it called? The high voltage solar array that I have. So this is my new system. It's a lot more compact, but it's also very incomplete at this time. And as you can see, it's actually processing things right now because I recently put a lot of iron into it. So basically, you put everything in here. The auto sort is turned off on this particular chest. As you can see, I have a lot of leaves in here right now, and you can see wrought iron dust coming in and wrought iron ingot being built up, coming in as well. And unfortunately, the dust is coming in so fast that you won't see this number go down at all right now, except actually I think it did. Yep, there we go, it did. So that goes through here. This sends a little signal to this computer, which says what went through it. This other computer, it like saves that in a database. If I remember correctly, all this one does is saves that in its own internal memory. And there is a limited amount of space on that memory, and I don't remember if I can programmatically access that. So this may just suddenly break it for no reason, which would suck. This one has a bunch of work in progress code for making a system where you can run where you can run commands, and this is a screen that you can output text on. But let me see if this is working. I don't remember. Yep, okay, so you can see it printed hello on the screen. This is it's slightly more complicated and less complicated at the same time. I can't just enter any text into it, but it does have this nice little interface with some buttons. And this is accessing the database, and you can see we have a bunch of default saplings, some pine saplings, apple tree saplings. You can see that it's counted a total of 9,329 items, 117 different types, and the pointer is at 85 in the list. So these are just ordered by the order that they came into the system. So the newest item, for example, oh yes, and heat is a measure of basically how likely the system is to freak out. So the most recent new item to go in here is the rubber tree trunk, which there's actually a bunch of those in here right now. And so I guess I had one of those go in there at some point. This is a pipe that is controlled by code, and I have it just set to do a couple different things based on memory. It's very simple, and it's programmed with this, and I commented out all the previous programmings, and it can do exact matches or partial matches, and most of the matches are partial matches, but the exact matches are prioritized so that if you, for instance, I want coal lumps to go to the black side, but I want all other lumps to go to the blue side. And the blue side, you can see, goes straight into this chest. This is just redundant memory, and it's extra redundant because I commented out the list of items as I ran them. So I have everything saved in here in the code already anyhow. But I've had some problems with these things overheating before and losing my stuff, so I really didn't want to lose it. This is a conductive pipe. That's how this is actually attached to actually receive the signals. Anyhow, the red side is tools, so you can see I just have some hammers, buckets, and a few bits and bobs, including ropes. And this one contains ore. As you can see, it's got iron lumps in there. They're called lumps instead of ores. And this is fed directly into a grinder, which has a lot of stuff in it right now. And then the grinder outputs things in here, which goes back into the input. So yes, things are double counted in that way, but I kind of did that intentionally because it counts every item that goes through it, whether it's processed or not. And I also, with the way the sorting system is set up, the idea is that you're supposed to be able to put just anything in here and it'll go where it needs to go. You'll also see that coming up, we have this coming over here to a basic kind of sorter, which puts most kinds of dust into the yellow and blue, which both wrap around to this chest, but it takes anything extra and puts it to this one on the top. And oh, I should have had silver dust on that chart, and I didn't, and that's why I have the extra bit at the top. I also have coal dust up there for now. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that, if I'm just going to make this the coal dust chest or send it somewhere else, but for now, I know that I need to put silver dust into the blue side, and now put some silver dust in there, and you will see that this, which was doing iron a moment ago is now going to output silver, because that's what's in the chest. And again, that cycles back around to the beginning. So automatically processing ores there. Plant/farming materials go in here. So far that's just mulch and papyrus. Wood items, basically literally anything that goes with the word wood or leaves goes into here. And then this is everything else right now. Basically, I want to have a chain of these where black is the other, or not yet sorted, so to speak, and eventually I'll have enough things going through to sort all items. As it is right now, there's not a lot sorted, and so I have a lot of junk in part of my old system, which is down here. And so you can see just miscellaneous things, like a hazmat suit, which is for a nuclear reactor. And I have a nuclear reactor, I just don't have the fuel for it yet, because this thing over here, the most frustrating thing I've ever worked with, this is a centrifuge, and right now the way I have it programmed is kind of silly, but essentially it sends specific signals from here with a time delay in order to pull items out of the chest. But every time I tried to make a system which automates keeping a track of the inventory, it never worked for various different issues. I don't know why. As you can see, 5.5% goes in here, and if it appears, it probably won't appear. It'll probably go through too fast. 0.4%, 0.6%. And so the uranium starts at a 0.7%, and you have to get it to a 3.5% to use it. This is all 0%. Every time you put 2 in, you get half of it going the way you want and half of it going the way you don't want. And you can see I have 1.8 here. Somewhere in here I have like, oh, there's 1.9. I think I even have a 2.0. I think that might be the highest one right now. Yeah, 2.0 is the highest one in here. So I have a bunch of zeros, and I've managed to get 1 all the way to 2.0. But like I said, it needs to get to 3.5%. And this system has to be run semi-manually right now, so it's not a great system, unfortunately. And, oh yeah, you can hear the water over here. This is where the power comes out and goes to everything else. I have some storage chests, just bulk storage. This is compressed cobblestone. I kind of want to do the math on this. Let me just pop open a calculator real quick. All right, so we have 99 per stack. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. Yeah, times 8 rows times 2 8 columns times 2 rows, plus 99 plus 99 plus 99 plus 99 plus 99. Shut up, I did the math slightly wrong, and Windows calculator is kind of stupid. Plus 98. So that gives us 2,177 stacks of compressed cobble. Well, not stacks. Items of compressed cobble, which are each 9 cobblestone. So that means there's 19,593 cobblestone in this chest. That's a lot. Quite a bit. But not nearly enough, because I want to build the Enterprise. No, I really don't. It's actually that. I'm not that insane. I'm pretty close to that insane, but not entirely. I've done a lot of stuff with computers, so you will find just random bits of computers laying around, as well as this autocrafter for making oil extract, which is for making plastic. There's a whole system that I really should set up an automated plastic production somewhere. I probably will down here, probably over in that corner. You can also make biofuel in this thing, which I don't really have a use for, so I haven't made very much of it. Oh yeah, this was me experimenting with automating. You can actually send signals to the autocrafters to change their recipes, which is pretty neat. Some older random storage. This is what it looks like when it's overheated. And this one was the timer that was running for everything up above. I haven't reset it because I don't want to. This little contraption, this is where the compressed cobblestone is made. There's also, oh yeah, apple tree leaves here. I really should change these to group leaves. The only reason it's apple tree leaves specifically is because I was manually putting them in there rather than using a computer, because I didn't know I could use a computer to do that. But if I change it to group leaves, that will be even better, because it can automate any leaves being turned into oil extract, which I would love to do, and compressed dirt, which I don't have a lot of, and I don't think, yeah, I was going to say, it's not even one of these chests over here. This one, though, this is all rubber wood grindings, or rubber tree grindings, which you make raw latex, and then you make rubber, and some of the cables are made out of that, and there's a bunch of stuff that gets made out of that, so it's nice to have it around. Other miscellaneous stuff, including cardboard boxes, which are for style purposes, and yeah, that's pretty much everything. The only thing I haven't touched on, really, is this little bit here, which is just paper, making paper that goes up to make the low voltage cables. And, oh, yeah, part of the sorting system is down here. You can see there's another bit here ready to go, but not hooked up to anything yet. This is a very simple system. This checks against Miscon, Digiline / DigiStuff, Technic, and Pipeworks. It's all just hard-coded. It's very simple. And so we have all the Technic stuff going into here. Oh, interesting. Oh, these have Technic in the name. And so they got sorted down here, even though they should have gone to the other storage. So yeah, that's a flaw in my system. They, that's interesting. It's only some of them that get sent down here that shouldn't be. But it is a sign that I need to change my sorting system again. And then this is all Mies stuff. So you can see I have some FPGAs, which are like a very simple version of the Lua controller. I don't use these for anything. I made 2 of them. I tried to use them, never ended up using them. They're just, I just don't need them. And then back here we have the Digi stuff and Digiline, which is essentially better versions of Misicons because you can send actual messages. And you can see that Mies Crystal Fragment did end up in here. I'm not sure why. I think maybe it's because the Digiline mod actually adds the fragments, and they're just Mies crystals from the Misicon mod. And oh yeah, you can see there's some tube segments in here, so those have Digiline in the name, so that's why they ended up in there, but really they should be in here, in the Pipeworks section. So I will need to change how that works a little bit. In fact, actually, I know exactly, so here's the problem, I've just realized. I know how to fix it here. The way I fix it here is I rename it so that this is checking for the mod name instead of just Digiline. So if I add that colon, that's going to look for anything with Digiline colon in it, which means it will only return for items that are for the mod itself, which is cool. The problem is, oh yeah, and I have some actual hard-coded ones right here. So you can see default Mies Crystal fragment. And so those are actually added by the default mod, not Misicons. The default mod is a collection of things that hook up a game similar to Minecraft, but not the same. But I'm not going to save that right this moment, because I'm actually going to need to change this one in order to stop sending down, for instance, the ingots that ended up in here from the Technic. And unfortunately, the way the system is right this moment, I actually don't have a way to tell it to delete existing entries. It only has a way to set things. So I'm going to need to reprogram this slightly in order to have it able to delete items as well as to add them. And then I'm going to have to use this and go in here and take, for instance, all these things that are yellow. And there's a couple more up here that are yellow. Yeah, all those things that are yellow, I'm going to have to rework them. Well, all of them except for these two. These two are going to be fine. Actually, that's fine as well. It's really just the Technic, Pipeworks, DigiStuff. Actually, I think really the only thing I need to change is the Digiline and Technic, because nothing else has those names in the wrong place, so to speak. Not the wrong place, but for my purposes, not the wrong place. But yeah, gonna have to change that. Now I forget, are those stored in a table? They're stored in a table. Okay, yeah, a table, not like an array. That's good. That'll make it easier to reprogram. But yeah, that's my crazy tour of everything that I've done. Actually, no, there's one more thing. I mean, well, there's not one more thing, but that's everything for right this moment in that main area. I'm actually going to go over here and just, this is where I built that little shuttle. So those were stairs going up to the shuttle. and the little bits of sand that were there were from where I built access to it. Over there, that's a much bigger ship that I started working on. It's missing the jump drive because I took it out in order to make the shuttle, because I only had one jump drive. I only have two now. They're expensive to make. And this very bottom layer where there's the plastic was about to be the frame of the ship. And this is based on the maximum size that a single jump drive can teleport. And so, you know, it's a fairly decent little cube, but imagine this going up to the same distance from these protection blocks above it. In fact, where the reactor is built, the very top of the reactor is the topmost portion that would be allowed for that ship. I don't know if I'll ever finish this particular project, this particular ship idea, because it's just not what I wanted it to be anymore. And oh, okay. So let me go up to the top, and I'll show you. In order to access the reactor, you have to break a couple of pieces of scaffold, come down here. Now it's safe right now because I'm it's off, so I don't have to wear my hazmat suit. But if it was on, I would be dead right now. It's just the core surrounded by water in a solid block, then surrounded by lead in a solid block, then surrounded by this hardened concrete in a solid block. Oh, I'm gonna fall. Ow. Oh, hey, look, another saw table. I guess I left one out here for work on this project. But yeah, like I said, I'm not really gonna continue on it, at least not yet. I kind of have to, or I have to at least, I guess, use part of it. If nothing else, I can plonk down a jump drive with, actually it would have to be the maximum radius. I might tear down the reactor to do something else. Or I'll just, you know, eventually use it, but it won't necessarily be in the same shape. But yeah, stuff and things. I just realized jump drives, you know, you don't have to leave them in one spot. I might make a system where I have a jump drive, like I just keep a jump drive, a battery box, switching station, power cable, and a battery, a high capacity battery, and just, you know, teleport pieces of construction into where they're needed. So like I could build part of like a space station, for example, and then, you know, I can build it down here or heck up in space but not in the right place, and then just jump drive it into place, which is pretty neat. It's a pretty neat capability to offer for construction. Of course, there's other areas that I have access to that I haven't shown off. There's a space elevator that is a work in progress. This is the old system, which, as you can see, the display is a lot less technical than the other one. You can see this is counted 17,526 items, though. 246 types, but this was counting types incorrectly, so that count is a little bit off. I eventually want to extract the data from it, which is why it's still just sitting here and I haven't destroyed it yet. Because I'm hoping I can pull that data out and do something with it. I'm not sure what. I need to find out if I can find how to see what is left of I can't think of the words right now. What is left of the memory space in something, in one of these microcontrollers? Because, well, technically there's a Lua controllers, not microcontrollers, but it says microcontrollers, so yeah. I also want to make there's just a lot of stuff I want to make with these because I really like them and I like the capabilities they have. So yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching this incredibly longer than I thought it was going to be video. See ya.